Yo, what's up? This is Ahzz making another FPVOD with commentary. Well, that's what the TLnet guys told me to say anyway. And I think it sucks, so I doubt I'm gonna do it again. This is a PvZ on Tau Cross. Tau Cross has quite long rush distances, so you gotta take that into account. For example, if they're overpooling, you're not in quite such a hurry to make cannons and so on as you would be otherwise. On this starting location, it's very hard to make a perfect block that, like for example, on the 5 o'clock position, it's very easy to make perfect block, but on this one, if there is one, I don't know it, so this is a little bit vague. Also, since they don't want to be walled in with a pylon on their natural entrance and so on, they're probably gonna start off with a 9 pull or overpull or something along the lines. Even 6 pull is not unheard of on this map, since first off, the rush distances are long, but it's not necessarily a problem since they have a hard time doing a counterattack. This is like 90% fast expo, and with 6 pull they really won't be that much behind, even though you would really think that it would be. Here I'm sort of like fitting what would be a decent placement for my buildings, so that I'm not having too hard time doing a block and so on. Here I see an overpull build, which is quite basic. I almost expected that. And also on this map, when playing on this map, sure, the second natural with gas is real easy to take, and that's actually what on Tau Cross it mostly revolves around, the second base. Since it's so hard to take more than that, you gotta be careful about letting them take more than those 2 or 3 bases if we include the mineral only. Since if they get past that, it's just gonna be have no stop in it. So you gotta try at all costs to stop him making any more expansions than simply possible. It's really gonna make a huge difference if they're able to make one more expansion than those 2 or 3. So, and that's actually for the process as well. If you can take that more than those 2 or 3 expansions real early on, you're gonna have a big lead, since on this map at least, if you wall in a bit and so on, it's very hard for them to break the blockade and so on, so it can really work for your advantage. He's making it seems to be making an overpull speed build, making some links over here, which means that I need a quite fast block over here plus some cannons. That's why I'm skipping probes actually at the moment. I wanted to do an Nexus first, and if I make a constant probes and still do Nexus first, I have the trouble of getting enough cannons up in time. So that's why I'm really careful. I'll sort of microing my probe, since if I can keep it alive a little bit longer, find out a few more things, then it's gonna be really work in my advantage. And note this one. I sent another probe this early on, like right after the previous one died, out on like kind of like the longer route. And the reason for that is that if I can actually sneak another probe when all his links are elsewhere and he's not prepared for it at all, I can pretty much know every single thing he's doing, whatever it is. I know how many expansions he has, and if I can do that, I have a huge advantage on the early game. And that's why I like to. It's really important to know everything your opponent is doing in the early game, since otherwise you're either gonna play real risky, since he could be doing pretty much anything, or you're gonna play real safe, in which case you're gonna have to spend a lot more minerals, for example on cannons, which might be wasted, and you're denied a lot of stuff which you wouldn't normally be denied of. Upgrade when you can, and here I'm kind of like running around. I noticed that he's making a fast lair, which might mean either a muta build or a lurker build. Even something like a lair first, 2 hydraulic den, so that I think that he's making lurkers and instead go mass hydro with fast overload speed. Even that's not unheard of, but you don't really have to prepare for that one so much. Since I'm sort of unsure what he's gonna be doing, I decided to start off with a Stargate build, so I can make a Corsair to first off will harass, and secondly, so I'm able to know if he's actually making middle discs, so I can kind of like choose what if I'm gonna go either cannons or something else maybe, and the thing is, if he's not making a middle disk build, I can just make maybe more gateways, expand earlier, perhaps break out easier, maybe add some early pressure, who knows, depends on what he's doing, of course. And if he is going middle disks, I can just build whatever amount I need, and I'm sort of like killing those links over here, since if he's completely oblivious of what I'm doing, he's gonna play extra safe, and he might be forced to sucking up more earlier on, which means that he's gonna get drones slower and so on. So it's also useful to do that. Some Corsairs, usually I prefer to make 1 or 2 Corsairs, it doesn't really matter. But if I'm sort of like afraid that he's making middle discs, it's useful to make more Corsairs, since they counter them pretty well. Killing some more chokelings over there, killing some overlords. I also noticed that he's not making a super fast layer. He's making like a decent amount of drones, and he's not making something like an all in middle discs. At least it doesn't seem like that. Since his layer wasn't finished already and so on. So that means that if I could just build 1 cannon just to be safe, and then bring my Corsair to scout pretty soon afterwards, I'm able to detect whatever he might have before his middle discs arrive, and I can even cannon up, make more Corsairs, maybe make an Archon or so on. Okay, I saw he's making a lurker build. That means that I'm allowed to harass with my Corsairs a little bit more freely, unless he's making a hidden spire somewhere. But I doubt it, since of what he has in general. I'm making hidden tech in okay, he had a hidden spire over there, but I'm making hidden tech in general. It's a little bit risky in ZVP, since unlike in ZVT, it's just easier for the protoss to scout you if you have and destroy it, perhaps if you have it like wherever else. And since they can't really they don't have something like a scan which will detect your main, it's just much more safer and useful in general to make your tech in your main when you're a Zerg. Make some more gateways, pylons. He has Scorch, so I gotta be a little bit careless with careful, sorry, with my Corsair. But since I doubt he's actually gonna make a all-in meta build or something, I can just manage with 2 to 3 cannons and a little bit something to prepare up beforehand. For example, extra Corsairs, an Archon earlier on, and so on. So it's really gonna be enough, since that's actually a pretty common ZVP build. They sort of like make fast lurkers and fast spire for Scorch to kill off my Corsairs and to kill off my observers, so he can contain me in my main earlier, deny my expose easier, and so on. Now he checked out my main if I have any defense, maybe for anti-air, who knows. I'm checking some extra expansions, since if I'm allowed him to take those expansions, it's just gonna cost me my game unless I can do something fast, so I prefer to be safe and early. I'm making some extra Corsairs if he's making Scorch and or Mutas. I have those Corsairs to sort of like shoot them off and instantly counter them, and even if he doesn't, they will just shoot his overlords and so on. So it's really fine to make them, really. And if I make some extra Corsairs, I only need 1 Archon, even if he's making middle discs, so that's not a problem either. Okay, he made some lurkers over here, but I was a little bit careless. Well, I don't know, but I could have slowed him down, maybe make me spend a little bit less storms over in that. And the thing is, if I can now take this expansion real early on, it's really gonna work for my advantage, really. Since, like I said in my previous PvZ game, it's in my opinion at least, it's all about the second expansion, and that's why I really do need that second expansion really early on. It's really gonna make a huge difference, especially when he's doing a fast tech build like he is over here. It means that he won't have as much units, he won't have as good economy, so it's just important to have if you can have a second expansion real early, since much of his efforts were wasted. If I can get this expansion, he can't contain me, and all his early tech was pretty much for nothing, and that means that he's behind economy and otherwise as well. Here I'm making some cannons extra, sort of. He doesn't have very many lurkers over there, but I want to be safe with it. Here I gotta be careful.